Next thing I'm going to go on to is the forts. Now, the forts are pretty much the replacement for the Borgia Towers from Brotherhood. I don't know if they were in Revelations. I didn't play Revelations. I played 1, 2, Brotherhood, and 3 now. So, to kind of recap what the Borgia Towers were in Brotherhood, there were these sections in the map that were completely in red. So you walk into them, you are no longer incognito. You will be seen by guards very quickly, and you take out these towers, and it unlocks part of the area for you. Well, here it was more like you take out the forts just because you want to take out the forts, and it's fun. And it is fun. You get to approach them in a few different ways and kind of go through them how you want. If you get discovered, it's not going to end. There's no mission per se, so it's not going to like restart if you get discovered. You get to organically get out of that situation and fight your way out, which is great, and more missions need to be like that. But the problem with the forts is that there aren't that many ways in, which makes absolute sense. You know, fort, it's completely enclosed with like with walls, yeah, but they're like, you know, the trees with this like they shave off to a point on the end. It's like entirely that enclosed except for the gate, right? So the gate's a way in, but there's usually like 4 guards standing right there. You're not gonna be able to walk right through unless you kill all those guards. Start fighting those guards, the alarm goes off, other guards come, and you're no longer sneaking through. There's always pretty much another way in, which is like running through a tree branch, or finding like I know some forts from the city, so they're made of entirely like brick and cement, so you're able to kind of jump your way over there at certain points. But for the most part, there are about 2 ways into each fort, and for gameplay wise, I feel like that's not enough. You could have had more trees overhanging the fort to get in, you know, more ways up the brick wall to get in, kind of thing. It would make it a lot more dynamic instead of you must enter at this point and you must go from there, right? So, good thing that you can go from there, but I think it would have been better to have more points of entry to do more stealthy stuff. Because I found most of the time I'd try and do some stealthy stuff, and then I'd just get caught and I would have to like fight my way through, and I just fight everyone and do the little things. Like each fort you have to blow up their ammo, kill their captain, then go raise a Patriot flag. And yeah, so I found it was really hard to use stealth in those forts as well. I think part of the reason is because you can no longer just walk up to 2 guards standing there and do the double assassinate thing. If you're going to double assassinate someone with both him blades, you got to jump off a building to do it, or jump off anything high to jump on them and just like that, like what you did in AC2. There's no just walking up to them and doing that. So if you walk up to one of them, kill one of them stealthily, the other one's going to see you and raise the alarm, making it so, okay, I get 1 stealth kill in, then I'm done, right? But like, so you're kind of restricted if you're doing stealth to avoid the guards and not take them out stealthily. There are guards that wander along by themselves without a partner, but more often than not, there are at least 2 of them there, and you kill one, the other's going to raise the alarm. So it's less stealth, more like, how do you want to approach this big battle that will happen? That's what I found with the forts. And one thing like that I loved with the forts, though, like absolutely loved, is the towers in the Borgia towers were almost like those inconveniences I was talking about before. They weren't puzzles, they were just really annoying, and they were all the same. You have to like climb up one part, turn, climb up another, go on the other side, climb up another. It's like a spiral all the way up, and it was an inconvenience. It wasn't a puzzle. I didn't have to think about it. It was a brain dead puzzle that took a while to do, instead of just climbing straight up, which would have been a lot faster and a lot funner in the end. And Forts doesn't have that whatsoever. You know, you don't have to do any of those crazy inconveniences to get there. Although there are, every time, like, not when you kill the captain, but when you blow up the ammo and raise the flag, there are cutscenes which, they're just cutscenes. They're not interactive. You just have to go through the cutscene to get it done. It's not like, however well you perform in this minigame depends, you know, how many Patriots retake the fort afterwards or something. But it's like, no, it's just a cutscene you gotta go through. So that's a bit inconvenience, but not nearly to the point of the Borgia Towers were. So, the next thing, naval combat. Yeah. This is impressive. I love naval combat. It was a lot of fun. You know, they had like you had the waves interfering with how you did stuff. If you shot cannonballs into a high wave, they wouldn't go through properly. They come off at different angles, maybe not even go through. Wouldn't hit the target. So you had to time your attacks. You had the wind, go fast and right with the wind. If you're going directly against the wind, you're a lot slower. Rogue gusts of wind can kind of like tip your boat sideways and you get way off course, and it was a lot of fun. Great controls. You couldn't see quite in front of your boat, so it was like, am I gonna miss it? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna miss it. Good. You know, you have to kind of you kind of narrowly avoid things, but it wasn't like perfect vision, which is great because you wouldn't have had perfect vision standing where Connor would be standing for captaining a boat. So I thought those were quite good. You know, loved them. Although what the trailers led me to believe about naval combat was that if I crippled a boat to the point where it wasn't dead, but like the masts were gone and stuff like that, I could then board it. You know, do a cool boarding thing. No, that is not as advertised. There are certain missions where that happens, where you jump over to the other side, but you can't do it to any boat. And if you can, I can't figure out how. Like, I would cripple the boat, knock down its mast, go up right next to it. No prompts would come up, push a button. I'd try pushing different buttons. Nothing would happen. They would end up shooting me because they could still shoot from their stationary position kind of thing. And the only time it ever happened, I was able to board other boats, was when the game wanted to have a scripted event boarding that boat. So you can't board the boats, but I kind of thought you'd be able to. I thought it'd be a cool mechanic, but you can't. So, you know, you still have the rest of the naval missions, which are awesome. And then the one part which I guess the second part which I don't like about the naval missions is that pretty much 99% of the time when new enemies come into the battle, the game takes control of your camera and turns it towards the enemies. Now, yes, tell me the enemies are coming. Do not take control away from the player. I absolutely hate that in games when it's like, hey, look over here. I'm going to force you to look over here. I'm like, okay, I see them. Now let me do something about it. Let me get into the position I want to fight these guys. Let me worry about this other dude that I haven't destroyed yet so I can go attack those guys. No, it's going to make me look at that for several seconds, just looking. Okay, I'm good. Am I going to crash? I don't know. I don't remember. There might be a rock coming up in front of me that I was going to move out of the way, but now I can't move out of the way because I can't really see where I'm going. So, my opinion, don't take control away from the player at any time. Assassin's Creed does this a few times, where it's like you enter a bar and you can no longer do anything except walk. You can't even fast walk, which kind of makes sense. You're indoors, but you should be able to if you want. There are parts I'm not going to spoil. They're just certain scripted parts of the story where it takes control away from you, and you're like, I'm just walking forwards. Okay, why not put this in the cinematic? This is not interactive. This is just me playing along, and you say press this button, I press this button. That's not interactive really. So, okay, yeah, it is interactive, but you know, just interactive kind of thing. So, I would say tell the player the enemies are there. If they want to have the camera pan over to them, let them press a button. Like Gears of War, it had those like points of interest parts in it where it would like, boom, something happened, then a prompt would come up, press the Y button. If you press the Y button, the camera pans over to wherever this thing happened and shows you what it was in like better camera angle than what you would have gotten if you just looked there normally. Great. If I wanted that, I will. Gears of War, I never did that. I never wanted control taken away from me because I could have hit something. I could have been dead. I could have ran into something else. Someone could come and flank me or whatever. Right? Like in Assassin's Creed, when it takes the camera away from you to show the enemies, yes, they're far off. It doesn't really affect you if you don't get a plan for them right away, but it's still annoying. Every time I was like slamming my controller stick to this side. I'm like, no, I don't want to look over there. I want to look forwards, and I couldn't. And it was really frustrating. But apart from that, naval battles were phenomenal. Had a great time with them. There are some mission types in Assassin's Creed 3 which I quite liked. I've heard some people say they don't like them, but the eavesdropping missions, I quite like. Sorry, some water. The eavesdrop missions, I quite liked. That is the eavesdrop missions that you were able to move around with. Like, what would happen is that there'd be two guys talking, and you were tasked with gathering intel from those two guys. And if they were just standing there, you just had to stand there as well in a hiding spot and listen to them. And it's like, okay, are they done? Nope. It's gonna wait. Can't really do anything. It's gotta sit here and not do anything whatsoever. Those aren't very good. But the eavesdrop missions where the 2 or 3 people are walking, that means you have to go from hiding spot to hiding spot, not getting noticed. You get too close, and they'll turn around and be like, hey, who are you? Hey, you kind of look like an assassin with all those weapons on. We should call the guards or something, right? But it was great. It's like going from hiding spot to hiding spot, trying to find a place I could hide, not getting too close to them. As they were walking, I had to do it quickly, otherwise I would get too far away and I'd fail the mission. So when the eavesdroppers were walking, great. When they were standing still, not so much. Take all those out. Always make it walking so much. Like the first one in the tutorial, make them stand still. Everything else, walking. Let's see. Yes, hunting animals, I already kind of said this. It's quick time events. But I feel like what they could have done with that is the exact same combat system they have for fighting guards. You know, the counter thing appears and you get a BX or BY, whatever, to counter the animal. Yes, that would require a few more animations if you do it to the extent that you do the guards with. But like with the quick time events already, it's always the same animation that gets played out. So if you have it just the same system with the one animation, it's better than having the quick time events. Because quick time events are annoying. It's like, okay, I can't attack this thing unless I shoot it or sneak up on it. I must wait here to counter. That's what I did. I never shot any of these animals. Like the ones that attack them, like cougars, jaguars, bears, whatever. I just stood there and waited for them to come out as a quick time event. Because the quick time events were so easy. It's like, oh, boop, 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 boop. Oh, I win. Look at that. No skill, no sense of urgency or whatever. I feel like if you were to just fight them like you would a normal guard, it would make that a lot funner to do. Instead of like, great, another animal's come to attack me. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah, another thing I kind of touched on earlier is that the actual missions, like the story missions in the game, are extremely linear. You know, they had this problem with Assassin's Creed 2 as well. It's like, they tell you to do one thing, you have a massive open world, like all in New York, the frontier, Boston, huge areas, and it's like, follow this one little path. That's it, just that path. So, it seems like they're missing something there. Like, they could easily get some amazing openness to their missions. But yes, the open missions are harder to do, and chances are they won't be as cinematic. You know, all the games now, they want more cinematic stories. You know, that way, yes, they can control your emotions better. They can let you see exactly what they want you to see, not anything more, not anything less. And unfortunately, that spells out linear missions and not openness, which Assassin's Creed could absolutely do, and it'd be amazing.